Yeah, sit down. Guys, my name is Mark Soto. I'm the executive director of the Honor Bowl. And I want to tell you guys the story so you guys know why you came all the way from Arizona to be in this event. We are known as the best high school football showcase in America for a reason. And the reason is because we put heart into this game. And you're going to hear a little bit of that heart today. I want to introduce you to a couple of friends. This is Gold Star mom, Patty Schumacher. What does Gold Star mean? Her son was killed in action. This is First Sergeant Freddie Torres. You're going to hear his story of what he went through in battle. This is Melissa. She's a Gold Star sister. Her brother was killed in action. This is Tom Schumacher. He is a Gold Star dad. His son was killed in action. This is Rick Sutter. All those graphics that you've been seeing on Instagram and Facebook, this is the guy that's been doing them. Guys, I'm a football coach just like all these other coaches. But in 2010, my life changed. I had two boys, one that wanted to go into the Marines, one that wanted to go into the Army. They saw those towers fall, and when they saw those towers fall, they said, "Dad, we want to go serve." I tried everything to stop them, but they were patriots, and they said, "Dad, we want to go fight." So one went Army, one went Marines, one became the best sniper in the Army, the other one went Marines as a rifleman. I knew they were going to see battle, but nothing was worse than the battle of 2010. And I'm going to give you a little highlight of that. When in 2010, we would go down to Camp Pendleton and we would throw a party for the Marines before they would leave. I'd buy a keg of beer, we'd all gather up the Marines, and we'd go, "Come on guys, go get some." But this one was a little different. My son never told me where he was going that day. He always would say, "Hey Dad, we're going to the Asia Pacific. Hey Dad, we're going to Iraq. Hey Dad, we're going here." But this time he didn't tell me until that party. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Dad, let's take a walk." And I said, "Hey, your friends are all here. What do you want to take?" "Dad, let's take a walk. I want to tell you where we're going." And he took me by the arm, and that's when he said, "Dad, we're going to a place in Afghanistan called Sangin. It's in the heart of the Helmand province, and do yourself a favor, don't Google it." So what do you think I did, coaches? I Googled it. I found out that Sangin was the place where the British Royal Marines were fighting, and in a 4-year span had lost 200 men, and over 1,000 of them had lost their legs. And that's where my son was going. They were going to take the fight of the enemy and take that territory back. He said when they were leaving and they started landing in their fob, in the relatively safety of their base, they heard pinging coming off their helicopter. And they looked outside and they saw that they were surrounded by white flags. Now when we think of white flags, what do we think of? Surrender, right guys? Nope, not to the Taliban. The Taliban would put these white sheets on the ground, and in black spray paint, they would spray paint, "Death to the Americans, death to the infidels." That's us, guys. That's us. They landed in their base, and they got acclimated, and then the first patrol was going to go out. The first patrol goes out, and around a click down the road, they hear this boom. "Oh my God, our patrol just left. What just happened? Let's call them, let's call them." Radio silence. They mount up, they get in their Humvees, they rush out there. "What happened to this patrol? They're not returning our radio calls." When they get out there, they found that the vehicle that they were in was lifted up off the ground by a bomb so big that it threw the truck up in the air, twisted it like a corkscrew, and 4 Marines instantly were killed by the time that thing hit. This is where it gets freaky, guys. I'm a high school football coach in Granite Bay, California. And a friend calls me from up the road and he says, Coach, your son's a Marine, right?" And I go, "Yeah, my son's a Marine." He goes, "Man, something happened next door. There were Marines that came in full dress uniforms, and they knocked on the door and it wasn't good. Something went wrong with their son. Give me their number. So they give me their number, and I found out there was a young Marine that was killed from my hometown. I later got a hold of the family, and I found out that that Marine was a young man that I used to coach. Heartbreaking, guys. Heartbreaking. They went out there to get their son. They went out to Dover Air Force Base. They came back and I started talking with the family, and that's when they asked me, Coach, will you eulogize my son? It was the biggest honor of my life. It changed my life. I had the honor to eulogize Victor. I heard taps play. I saw his body lowered into the ground. But this is where it even gets freakier. My son calls me from Afghanistan on a satellite phone. Dad, my colonel tells me a coach eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you, Dad? I said, yes, son, that was me. He goes, Dad, I was there. I pulled him out of the vehicle. Changed my life, guys. Changed my life. It was that time where I got coaches together and I got friends together and I got patriots together and I said, we got to do something for these guys that are losing their legs. They're coming home changed. They got PTSD, they got TBI, they're dying. And that's when we created the Honor Bowl. That's the story of the Honor Bowl. 15 years later, we've entertained and had 210 high schools like yours come through our gates. Thousands of athletes, many, some are playing pro ball right now, that have been kneed up like this, that have been on their butts like you guys, listening to this story. Guys, I tell you this story because I want you to feel this. I want you to know the heart behind the Honor Bowl and why you guys are in this event. This is why your coaches came out. This is why they want you to be in this event. It's not only to kick ass on the Cathedral Catholic Dogs. It's about playing an event for the men and women that fought, bled, and died for our freedom. By the innocence of your athleticism, this is what you guys are doing today. You got it, guys? You got it? I want to introduce you to one